Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.
Hi, my name is Omobola Stephen. Welcome to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. On today's show, I have a guest with me, Marek Zmyslowski. He's the author of bestseller Chasing Black Unicorn. He's an investor, an entrepreneur, and also a speaker. So welcome with me on Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen, Marek Zmyslowski.
Hi, Bola. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Did I pronounce your name well?
Not necessarily, but I actually don't mind. I enjoy listening to people trying to pronounce my name. It's a sadistic pleasure.
I want you to pronounce it well, please, for next time.
Sure, it's Zmyslowski.
Okay. I think.
Yeah. So yeah, not the easiest one. Yeah.
That's okay. So, at what moment did it occur to you that? Because I know that you're the author of bestseller Chasing Black Unicorn, and I know it's a big thing. So, at what point in your life, did it occur to you that you have stepped on big toes? Yeah, the Interpol. So, I wanted you to just shed more light about that.
Yes. So, long story short, last 9 years of my life, almost 9, I have spent in sub-Saharan Africa. First for 4 years and a half, it was Nigeria, then it was Kenya, South Africa. And Africa has really given me the most amazing adventures of my life, both business and personal. And it have also given me most extreme adventures of my life, both positive and negative.
Right.
On the positive side, I was able to be a part of this amazing company called Jumia, which ended up being on New York Stock Exchange. I was one of the early employees that was working with them. And I've seen this thing growing huge. I was the co-founder of the travel division. But then on the other side, when I started investing and building is when you run business in countries when economy is still young and growing and developing, there's still a big problem with corruption.
That's right.
And there's a big problem with corruption in police. I think this we all know that,
That's
especially
right.
considering what is happening right now in Nigeria. So essentially what happened to me is my local business partner decided to get rid of me from the company. And he used police to do that. Basically, you bribe the police, they issue a fake arrest warrant after you. And then you really have a choice. You either do what they want you to do. In my case was first giving the shares of the company, later paying cash. Or you're going to end up in jail, unfortunately. And what happened to me is really, I realized that this is such an extreme situation that if I happen to finish this problem with a happy end, if I'm able to defend my case, that will be a great material for a book. And essentially what happened is that the legal battle took 2 years. The legal battle happened in Nigeria, in the federal court. It happened in France, where there's the headquarters of Interpol, and it happened in Poland as well, because I was almost extradited to Nigeria. And after all those 3 legal battles finished, I decided, okay, I think this is a great story for any future entrepreneur or for anyone thinking about his adventure to listen. And the rest is history.
That's
So
right.
on one side, this is a book about building businesses, but also it's kind of like a criminal book because about the very dangerous things. Because what happened to me was really very dangerous. Yeah,
that's right. You're so lucky. So can you tell me Interpol? How did you find yourself on the most wanted list? How did it happen?
So the Interpol is this. The long story short is that Interpol is this global organization, global police that is supposed to enforce the partnership of local police from different countries. So you can think of it as like a Facebook for police all over the world. They have this one platform, they can communicate And it's a very noble goal, right? When there's a criminal that tries to go from one country to another, you want the police to communicate with each other. But just like with Facebook, the purpose was very noble.
That's why Interpol,
yeah. But just like with Facebook, the goal was very noble to build some great organization. But also with Facebook, we have a lot of problems with people using social media for wrong purposes.
Yeah.
And if you bribe a Nigerian police in Nigeria, all you need to do is to have the Nigerian policeman to put the arrest warrant onto Interpol platform, just like you can put any video on Facebook or on YouTube.
That's right.
And if that video or that photo shouldn't be on Facebook, on YouTube, and the person who posted it doesn't want to take it down, it's going to be very hard for you to talk to Facebook or talk to YouTube and make them take it down for you. Because there's so many problems like this. There's such a big bureaucracy. And that's essentially what happened to me, is that my old business partner counted on the fact that it's going to be so hard for me to win the legal battle. He was hoping I will give up at some point, but I didn't. What I have done with the Interpol problem is that I have made this whole drama public, and by making it public, the people at Interpol decided, okay, there's this guy that some bad things are happening to him. He's being very loud about it. So thanks to the fact that media started writing about my problems, Interpol actually solved my case earlier. They analyzed the case and they've allowed me to win the legal battle, because they have admitted that what happened to me in Nigeria was essentially illegal, and that I'm a victim, not the bad guy there. So going public and using media actually helped me paying more attention by Interpol to my case, because if it wasn't for the media, I would probably be still waiting now for the result of this case, because usually it takes years, like up to 5 years, for Interpol to analyze your appeal. Yeah.
Because you have a story to tell, so you just have to come out. You have a story to tell.
I did, yes, and Another problem was that, I was this foreigner in Nigeria, and when I made the case public and I accused my business partner of essentially bribing the Nigerian police and showing that I have evidence, obviously you know what the other side did. Then they went and accused me for being the bad guy, as it always is, right? And there was a lot of attacks from one side to another, and I was also a target of many attacks by many random Nigerians who didn't really know much about the case, but they simply had an issue with a foreigner doing something in Nigeria. So I figured, I have to write a book to be able. Yeah, I think I have to write a book to be able to tell
the Nigerian government.
Sorry?
Do you have an experience with the Nigerian government? Do you have an experience with the Nigerian government?
Unfortunately, not a pleasant one, because when this whole drama happened, I went to Polish embassy in Nigeria, and I also asked the Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs for help. And the Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs has reached out to the Nigerian Ministry of Foreign Affairs with questions, asking why is Nigerian police going after this white Polish guy? He says that there's no evidence for him doing anything wrong. He's asking to be treated fairly. And Polish minister asked the Nigerian minister, what is happening? Why are you guys going after this policeman, this Polish guy, although there's no evidence for any crime? And unfortunately, Nigerian government has never replied, as if they were always trying to pretend the case doesn't exist, or maybe the questions were inconvenient for them. So that was my one experience, which unfortunately wasn't the best one.
All right. So Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa and the most difficult, to operate a business. Why is this most people's, conclusion?
So Nigeria is considered as a country business-wise, from business perspective. This is why Nigeria attracts so many foreign investment, because you want foreigners to come to invest, to open companies and give jobs and so on. That's how economy grows. On one side, Nigeria is such a big potential because everyone looks at the demographics. But at the same time, it's so hard to launch businesses because there are many challenges, and corruption is just one of them. And I guess what attracts everyone is that combination of huge risk, but also huge potential reward. There's a lot of problems, but if you can solve them, you can make a very, very successful business.
Right. So great. So now looking at what you've achieved so far, do you consider yourself as being fulfilled?
Oh, no, not at all. When I look at what I still want to achieve, what I wanted to achieve, and all the things that I didn't achieve yet, I think I'm maybe like 5% fulfilled. I mean, I am definitely happy with where I am right now.
That's important.
Yeah, but not fulfilled in a way that I always have to have some goals, because otherwise I would be lazy, depressed. I mean, I always have to have this rabbit that I want to chase, because the chasing is the fun part, not the achieving.
Right, keeps you going. In your bestseller, Chasing Black Unicorn, I think on chapter 6, I quote, you said both Africa and high should have gone into a relationship. So what led you to say that?
I know. Yeah, so I consider the way I'm writing about Africa is that this is this amazing girlfriend that I had a toxic relationship with. Or to be exact, with Nigeria, yeah, because there are so many ways which you love about Nigeria, but there are also so many reasons to hate Nigeria, right? When you live there wrong. But for some reason you can't stop thinking about her, right? You just get addicted to it, which is like in a toxic relationship.
I love that. Yes. I love that.
So I was always saying that it's a love-hate relationship.
Okay, I know that you're an investor, so I want you to tell me your investor portfolio.
So I wouldn't consider myself an active investor anymore. I went back to being an entrepreneur. So when I left Jumia and then I started doing a lot of investments in Nigeria, I was investing at the very early stage startups. I think I've did around 8 or 9 investments, but they were very small amounts, small tickets, like $10,000 to $50,000 per ticket. So we were really investing. I was investing as a business angel in the early stage growth companies. And the problem with those early stage companies is that, especially in Africa and Nigeria, is that they require a lot of attention, but they not always provide you enough risk reward ratio. And only one of the investments that I've done, only one of the startups still exists. That's the funny thing. Which is the hotel online business. And that was the business that I then decided to not only be an investor anymore, but be a main guy, one of the co-founders, really run it full time. And I focus on it 100%. And that was also the business that got me into trouble with one of my local business partners. And after those 2.5 years of legal battle, when I finally, everything happened that you can read about in the book, I published the book. I was like, I don't think I have the energy now to still look for startups and invest and risk everything. So I opened 2 more companies, but they are not the companies of someone else that I invested in. These are the companies which I have launched myself. In the process, I've realized that I may not be the best investor, because only 1 out of 9 companies I've invested in survived. And I think I enjoy too much running business and building business on my own. I don't feel like just giving money and then letting someone else take control. I prefer to be on the active side.
Experience is the best teacher, or what do you say?
I mean, definitely. There are some mistakes which you have to make yourself to learn.
That's right. Once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah.
It's been Omobola Stephen. I've been having a brilliant discussion with Marek Zmyslowski. He's an author of Chasing Black Unicorn, a speaker, and also an entrepreneur, and also an investor. I wanted to ask you, what do you consider a wise investment?
What I consider a wise investment?
Investment, yeah.
I guess there are so many ways to look at it. I think the most important thing in a wise investment is that you know why you are doing this, and you understand what's your expected timeline, meaning how much time are you giving yourself to realize the potential returns, and you are aware of the risk-reward ratio, because there are many investments that have a huge risk, but the potential upside is actually small. There are also investments when the risk is relatively small, but the potential upside is big. So a wise investment is such an investment where you are able to minimize the risk, the downside, and maximize the upsides. So if you're building that unfair advantage between big upside and small downside, that's when you can win. I would consider this a wise investment. One of the biggest problems in general in investments is that people don't know how long they are willing to invest and how long they're willing to wait.
That's right.
Which you see many times with stock investing. People should be already getting out of the stock because it's tanking, but they somehow still want to stay and hoping that it will still go up, and that's how they end up staying with the stock too long and gonna lose everything. So a risk-reward ratio, being aware of the risk-reward ratio and your investment horizon is super important. I would consider this a wise investment if you know what it is for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mike. Now, I know that you had huge stakes in Rocket Internet. Can you tell me about it?
I had what?
You had huge stakes in Rocket Internet. Can you tell me a bit about it?
I wouldn't consider it huge. So Rocket Internet is a huge investment fund, or you can call it a company builder, a company with thousands of employees and hundreds of companies that they've built. And what they do, it's a very interesting business model concept, is that Rocket Internet already knows what type of company they want to open, but instead of hiring a manager that may leave anytime if he doesn't like it, they will hire a co-founder. So they don't pay you just to manage the company, to build it from scratch. You also get shares if you deliver the results. So that's how I really got myself into Rocket Internet, because they were launching all those different e-commerce businesses in Nigeria. And they told me, you can join us. We're not going to pay you just salary, but if you deliver the results, if you make the company grow and survive and become big, you're going to earn your shares. And that's how I quote unquote earned my shares in Rocket Internet and in Jumia Group in Nigeria.
Great, brilliant. Do you have any projects you're working on?
Right now I have invested and then joined, because I've invested first, but then like I told you, I'm not a great investor. I joined the company, and now I consider myself as a co-founder of Sunroof, which is a solar power company. We're building solar roofs in Sweden, in Norway, in Europe, and soon in South Africa and Kenya, Nigeria. And we are building roofs that also produce power. You shouldn't confuse it with solar panels that you put on top of roofs. Our roofs do two things at once. And we're building a global competition to Tesla.
Right, that's huge. Wish you best of luck.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna need this.
Do you have any parting word?
Excuse me?
Do you have any parting word?
Parting word. To anyone that is listening to you, I mean, if you guys are interested in my story, maybe you can just check out the website Chasing Black Unicorns, plural, chasingblackunicorns.com. You can actually download the book for free if you leave your email address, because I wanted to share my story. But if someone is willing to buy it, all the revenue from the book goes into a charity which I have launched called Maya Foundation. And we're actually supporting a building of a school in Maiduguri. So if you are interested in details about all that, you know, myself, the book, and the foundation, just go to chasingblackunicorns.com and check it out.
Right. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I have some other time. We can do this again.
Yeah, let's do this. Thanks again for having me.
Thank you so much. All right. I wish you best of luck always.
Thanks so much, Bola. Thanks for allowing me to share my story on your platform, and all the best to you too. Stay safe in Nigeria.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.